Mike Ratner, the Buzz Reporter with NewFoodReviews.com, and we're here at the Delafield Brewhouse. And to my left is Chef Richard Sweed, who's the new chef at the restaurant here.
That's right.
Hey, so we have some real amazing dishes we're going to be sampling here today that the chef prepared just for us today. So let's get a quick introduction. And you came from a restaurant that you started at Artisan 179.
Yeah, I was in Milwaukee for 3 years at Artisan 179 that we launched before I came here. Did really well in Lake Country, so I had a new opportunity to come here and revamp something that is been a staple for a long time, and we wanted to kind of update it with the food and modernize what's going on and get it with the time. So I like that challenge, so now here I am.
Yeah, we're talking about Delafield, which is, if you're not familiar with the Midwest, is a burb of Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
And they were born in Waukesha County. So Richard actually comes from Philly. So you've got some amazing restaurants out there as well.
Yeah, it was a great place to grow up and train. So I started cooking there when I was 15 and never looked back. I knew what I wanted to do and spent my whole life doing this. So.
And you have a reputation of being a scratch guy. Like you just come up with stuff. So tell me a little about that and how you got it.
So I'm a self-taught chef. So doing that, I really wanted to immerse myself in knowing how to do everything authentically. So each time I wanted to learn something, it was all right, it's time to learn pasta. We're going to make every kind of pasta we can make until we know we have it down. Moved into some Japanese stuff and doing sushi and ramens and, just putting everything into it. I mean, now it's great. When I was a kid, there was no YouTube to research. It was a lot of books. Most French trained. I had a French chef in my young years of my career, so that foundation of cooking and appreciation of ingredients and technique, I found that by being able to do French food and that foundation allowed me to apply that to everything else. So that's kind of how we approach it here at the restaurant.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you just revealed something that I didn't know. Is it true that some of the chefs will actually go on YouTube in the kitchen and sort of see?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're learning something, especially when it's out of your genre, to feel comfortable, you have to see. And for me, sometimes I just want to see if there's a new technique. I mean, I've been cleaning salmon for 30 years, but I'll look at how other guys do it just to see if there's something that I'm missing, if there's something new, if there's a better way. And a lot of times I use it mostly for ethnic food, because when you don't grow up with it and you don't have that profile in your head to get it authentic. If I watch 50 YouTube videos on how to make pho, at the end of the day, I'm going to arrive at a classic pho. But if I just do a here and there recipe, so I take all the common denominators from a recipe.
Right.
So if it's always these 5 ingredients are always there, then I know I have to have those 5 ingredients for it to be authentic, or it's just going to be a washed out version of that dish.
Wow. Yeah. I bet you've come up with some incredible dishes in your time that just sort of like, hey, I've got this. You got a certain angle that nobody else has got.
Yeah, I've always believed that the restaurant, if you're doing, it's so highly competitive that if I'm doing something no one else is doing, then you have to come here to get it. So if one of my signature dishes, you love it, well, when you're having that debate about where we're going for lunch or dinner, if I got you on something from something small like our chicken burger to something big like an entree, then you're going to lead to come here because of that. So that's kind of how we try to stay away from like those cookie cutter dishes and create from within. So.
You got it from the source. We're talking with Chef Richard Sweed at the Delafield Brewhouse, and we're going to look at some luncheon specials right now. In fact, if you don't mind, Chef, why don't you hold up some of the dishes? What I'm going to do, and we're going to go live in just a minute on YouTube. I'm going to take some pictures with this phone, and we can hold up to that camera.
All right.
And
so our first couple here. This is a new salad for spring/summer here. We wanted something really light and clean, so this is our island shrimp salad. So it's grilled Gulf shrimp with baby spinach, and then we make a mango coconut vinaigrette that we use a mango puree and coconut milk and steep it with thyme and rice wine vinegar, touch of soy. some red bell pepper, and then some hard charred pineapple to give it some earth, and then red onion. And this is an everyday on our menu item. And it just eats super clean and citrusy, and it's refreshing, and it felt like spring and summer to us.
Nice. So in doing that kind of creation, and we're in the Midwest where spring is been eluding us. I guess you sort of have to be in a certain state to say, hey, this is.
Yeah, we knew we wanted a shrimp salad on there. It's something middle of the road pricing that you're not committing to an entree, but you're not just getting a burger. I have a great team around me. My sous chef and my pastry chef have been with me for almost 3 years. Cody Jensen is my sous chef, and Martine is my pastry chef. And we collaborate a lot on dishes. We actually this is one of our collaborations. We help each other put it together, and then I'll come back through and tweak a recipe, and we talk about what it needs to be. My food is 100% based off of, I want balance at the end of the day, that everything is there for a reason, from the bite of the onion to the coolness of the mango to the bitterness of the char on the pineapple, that we try to teach that the complete bite is going to be greater than its parts. So every part is great, but the sum is better. So that is the philosophy when we try to put one of these dishes together. So this is an everyday dish on the menu. And then this is also an everyday dish on the menu. This is our house smoked chicken gumbo. So I've had a good amount of success with my Southern and Cajun food in my career. And when I came here, I really wanted to touch on that and have that focus. We have 2 amazing smokers in the back. So we're smoking ribs, brisket, turkey, and this is an awesome Bell & Evans chicken thigh. So, and that's out of PA. And it is a never-ever program. So no hormones, no antibiotics. So I believe in knowing where your food comes from and using that super high quality to deliver something better. So we brine these thighs, and then we smoke them in-house. We take the smoked chicken jus. That becomes part of our chicken stock that we make as well for the base of this, with a nice dark mahogany roux, onions, peppers, andouille sausage, and then we do a wild rice pilaf, and then our smoked chicken to give a really, again, we wanted that authentic kind of Cajun flavor in there, and then we do it with our wild rice. And this is on our menu all the time as well. And then the other 2 that I wanted to feature today for you is we do a tapas Thursday.
Okay.
We actually just started this like 2 weeks ago. So we wanted to do a few small plates. These are 2 of them. So first, this is our. Oh, absolutely. So this is our homemade burrata. So we bring in the mott's curd. We hand pull it off for our burrata, and then underneath is tomato jam. So we have a wood-fired pizza oven here that we do our pizzas out of, and we found that it was kind of underutilized. How else could we get great flavor out of this? So I fire roast all the tomatoes in the wood fire, and then we pull it down, and I cook it down with a little champagne vinegar, sugar, and pectin to make this really clean tomato jam. And then prosciutto on top, micro basil, and then some ciabatta crostinis to go with that.
Maybe that should get along with your style. What do you think?
Right, I think so. And then our last small plate that we're featuring is this is our there we go. This is our Chorizo and Egg Dish. So we do artisan baby potatoes. So it's a mix of the blushes, the yellows, and the purple purple fingerling potatoes.
Okay.
And we sous vide all those off, and then we pan fry them back in duck fat, and then it has our homemade chorizo.
That's a lot of chicken like a dish.
You know it. We do our homemade chorizo in there. Our chorizo's in a couple dishes on menus, so we always keep the homemade around. So we saute the potatoes back with duck fat, homemade chorizo, and then we do a cage-free brown egg, sunny side up on top. Because again, we want that like really velvety yolk to balance out the heat, and the duck fat to give it that unctuousness and really round out.
That's incredible.
Round out the dish.
Are you guys ready to try it? We'll be right back after this. Hey, we're back at New Food Reviews. I'm the Buzz reporter, Mike Ratner. We're at the Delafield Brew House with Master Chef, who's the new chef actually, Richard Sweed. So it's amazing stuff. If someone just tuning in right now, maybe we'll just do a quick recap before we explore it.
Right.
So we'll name each dish and then we'll just go through it quickly.
So this is our island shrimp salad, grilled shrimp with a house-made coconut mango thyme vinaigrette, baby spinach, chard pineapple, red onion, and red bell pepper. Then next to that, this is our house-made burrata on the blue plate. Underneath is a wood-fire roasted tomato jam and prosciutto and all hand-pulled mozzarella. Then we have our chorizo dish that is duck fat fried potatoes with house-made chorizo and a sunny side up cage-free brown egg. And then lastly is our smoked chicken gumbo. So that is house smoked chicken thigh for the gumbo with andouille sausage and wild rice.
That's incredible. I'm a lucky guy because I get to sample the chef's specialties. So you can't beat that, but you can definitely make it over to Delafield and have a brew while you're here.
Absolutely. We have a lot of great, our brewmaster is amazing.
And this is your lunch menu.
Yeah, these two are our special Tapas Thursday menu. And then these are on our lunch, the gumbo and the salad are on our lunch all the time, and dinner for that matter.
Okay.
We run a pretty big menu all day long, and then we supplement with some really awesome theme nights. So on Tuesday, it's our Mexican Madness night. And we do everything super authentic. So we're doing barbacoa, we're doing al pastor, we're doing fish tacos. Our one non-authentic is a Frito burrito, but it's pretty awesome. We do buttermilk fried chicken, and inside is homemade rice and refried beans and Fritos, and then we cover it with a homemade queso and throw some more Fritos on top. So that's kind of hard to beat. For one of our dishes, and then we do a nacho smoked brisket that we do a mix of really good like guajillo chilies in New Mexico and arbol, and we smoke the brisket and then shred it for tacos, and then we do the same thing with chicken thighs for our chicken tacos as well. And then Wednesday night is our Asian night, which is probably my favorite. I have a deep love for that, so we do a different sushi roll every week. We do General Style chicken. We do pork bulgogi with house-made kimchi. We do local pork belly out of Madison from Uphall Farms. It's amazing that we do a pork belly ramen with a miso. We get the sun noodles from New York that are just.
Do you know what your menu is for next week? About that?
Yeah. Next week we pretty much we leave everything the same except for we change the sushi roll every week. To keep it fresh, but the General Style, the bulgogi, the Korean fried chicken that we do, all of that is on. And of course the ramen, my favorite. The ramen. It's a 3-day broth, so it spends an entire day as pork stock. We strain it, take it down, then we put it up the next day with really heavy like ham hock and bacon and miso, and let it run for another 14 hours, and then the third day is when it's ready to serve. We do the atajame, house pickled, bamboo shoots in there, soy-infused mushrooms, and then crispy pork belly.
That's incredible. So having that kind of experience, you don't seem like you have the background in Asian, but usually you just sort of picked it up, studied it.
That was actually Mind of a Chef, man. Like I kind of fell in love with ramen, and I started watching Mind of a Chef, and guys that I thought were awesome, and it was cool, like, Ivan Ramen and David Chang, and, I studied what they were doing and watched how they made their broths, and where I think sometimes chefs go down the wrong path is you don't want to emulate them, you want to be inspired by them.
That's right.
So mine is a hybrid of, from from what I learned watching David Chang and reading his book Momofuku, that I wanted a really quirky broth. So like, it's non-traditional in the fact of it's not a miso and it's not a tonkatsu. It's a hybrid of the two, but it's very rich, it's unctuous.
We got to come back on Wednesday because that sounds incredible, and I'm sure a lot of our fans, I'm sure you probably are.
I would say the broth feels like a hug. If you made the broth right, it's so nourishing, the broth feels like a hug.
We got a day to we got to bring the wife and kids though.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. Well, I know you guys are saying, well, come on, Mike, taste it. What's the opinion? Before I got to ask the chef another question because he's new here, and when a chef is coming from an establishment with his background, coming into a place and looking at what you can add to the menu, you got to tell us a bit about what that experience is like because we have a clientele, and there might be some expectation of you coming in to sort of like screw things up. What goes through your mind? What are you looking at? How do you make a decision as far as what's going to fly and what you want to try?
We use specials as the platform for trial and error. My biggest struggle in the Midwest is here to 5 minutes away are not going to eat the same thing. I might be able to sell oysters by the boatload here and not 5 minutes away. So it's kind of testing out with the clientele. And I believe in having a concept. So when I came through, I wanted to stay true to my reputation, which was global. And that's why you see things like an Italian dish next to a Cajun dish. And then really focus on, we worked a lot of beer into dishes versus pairings. So we took the classic, French onion soup, and we now do an amber ale onion in there instead to promote what we do with the beer. We do a sausage plate, very German, but we wanted to be different than everyone else. So we use our dockside ale and braise the cabbage to make that work. Barbecue and smoking is huge for us because we also do St. Louis ribs and turkey. So I wanted to feature the beer in that. So we use our Naga Wicked to do that. So my first thing was, all right, how can I promote what we're already doing great, what we've already built our name on, which was the beer. So after that, then it was, I wanted to showcase, what we do in our style of food, and I wanted to take everything back to scratch. I mean, one of our biggest sellers, and it's still one of our simplest things, it's a meatloaf dish.
Really?
But
that's good Western.
What we do is we do the old school, like brown sugar ketchup glaze that like almost everybody grew up on. But we do this nice big hunk, and it's a great mix of CAB and Berkshire pork. And then we use Hook's 5-year cheddar, which is an amazing cheese from here, to make a homemade mac and cheese to go under it. And it's one of those things that you can look at it and go, really, meatloaf? But when you put that much time and effort and love into meatloaf, you get a different meatloaf. It's not quite mom's meatloaf, but it's that, like, I love those food memories where you taste something and it takes you back.
It's a good movie, yeah.
That's what that does for me.
Yeah.
That's one of those dishes that takes me home to being like, oh, meatloaf.
Right. And for the Midwest, that's a sensibility thing, too. It's like, hey, I can relate to that. I grew up in Chicago, so with often and at home.
And we want to do stuff that presented like this. I mean, we changed everything. We brought in new flatware for the plate ups. The style stylistically was completely different. They've been great about really supporting and trusting like the vision of where we're going, and we just keep working and tweaking it to get it really dialed in. Lots of specials. I mean, we have those 3 theme nights, and then we have a Friday fish special. We have a Saturday meat special. We do brunch on Sunday, and it's a huge place. So we turn a lot of covers. So we're starting to get that exposure to what we're doing, that they see like, the time that goes in to each one of these dishes. Because making jam, pulling burrata, making the filling. It's hours worth of work to produce this bite, and that's what we're trying to show now is we're using local farms, we're using things that have never ever programs that you can stand behind, and the qualities, and then we're putting in the care of it's 90% scratch in here right now.
That's pretty incredible. All right, well, we got 4 dishes to sample here. I'm going to put on the other camera. We're going to go live. We are live at the Delafield BREWHAUS in Delafield, Wisconsin, with Chef Richard Sweed. So, what would you website?
I don't.
Coming up.
Coming up.
I know we're going to get comments and feedback going, where's the clip for? We'll work on that for sure. I think some fun stuff. All right, so you get to decide. I guess we're going to do the topics first. Or want to do the?
I would start with the burrata because it's the cleanest, and I would move this way into the spice.
Okay. So too, what we should do, maybe I'll have you hold this for a second. I'll set up this camera. You guys be patient, and you can just hold it like that. You can see in the mirror where it's at for each dish. You know, just do this. Oh, so you can talk about the dish real quick. If you
All right, so we're going to be starting with our house-made burrata. Not a very good cameraman. We're working on it. So they keep me in the kitchen.
Chef,
keep me in the kitchen for a reason. So that is a hand-pulled mozzarella with cream filling, and then a fire-roasted tomato jam that we make in-house, shaved prosciutto, micro basil, and then a ciabatta crostini to kind of tie it all together.
Oh, cool. You got a picture of that. Oh, that's a good shot. Get a picture of the whole camera.
We loaded you up and wanted to get you.
Oh my God, we're talking about big doggy bag.
How's it going here?
Oh, we're good. Hey, right on camera, sir?
Yeah.
Sure, okay. We're going to introduce Sam, who brought me over here. Samantha, you have to come on in, squeeze in.
You're here now, Sam. You're in with us now.
Oh boy.
All right. So Sam was actually a server here before she took on the role of doing marketing. She had a 2-year-old, so she took some time off to do some baby raising, right?
Yeah.
And she was going to school for marketing, and then when she was coming back, she said, hey, you've got to come and promote this restaurant. And so it's kind of like a whole new gig, right? I mean, with the new chef and spring in the air, we've got it happening here. It's like one big happy family.
Yeah, we are.
So would you do the courtesy? Of course, you're going to be biased because you work here, but maybe you could just do some of this. Tell us a few lines of this and that. And the chef could tell us about the different flavors and all that. Okay, I think we're all set to go in here. We're going to do one live, so we're going to switch this out, and we'll be all set. Okay, folks, we'll be right back after this.
Can I actually grab a quick picture of you guys?
Oh, sure. That's fun. It's on your Facebook.
Yeah. Alright. Ready? Smile, chef.
That is me smile.
Okay. Cool.
Your chefs don't smile. I keep telling she never believes me. I'm like, look them up. We don't smile in pictures. We got images of anything.
So when you're you're gonna go live when you're tasting?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a meeting at 2. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, we could do
yeah, I probably I'll let you guys enjoy your food, but these desserts too. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna check in a little bit. Okay. Let me know if you guys need anything.
Can you grab? Did they put spoons with that by chance?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see them.
Let's see, should call it Chef Sweed specialty what type of one?
BREWHAUS tasting with chef or something.
This is probably going to be it. Now I got the whole name or just Chef Sweed?
Chef Sweed. EDD, yeah.
That's what you know. Did you not get it?
Technology.
You thought about a book?
I have, more so because I have talked to, like, I spent a lot of time on the floor talking to guests in the past and stuff, and they're always really intrigued by the stories, just because, starting at 15 and, testing out of school and doing what I did on the East Coast, and then, I lived in Alaska for a summer in a luxury wilderness, and then just growing up in kitchens, it's like, it's half cooking, it's half kitchen confidential, you have all the multitude of stories of I was literally raised in the kitchen, 15 years old.
So because we'll be doing this live, we'll just pick up, we'll pick up on this side, but we'll just kind of like the right here on live.
Yep.
So people will just be trained to push stuff and then direct them back to the website.
Okay.
Everything's good. Oh, and description. I wonder, it's going to be a condition with the review of past lunch review.
Oh.
It's not fast food, for sure. Any good typing good thumbs?
Not really.
Word dishes. People might want to know. I can type, but we start with the
Go to start with Burrata.
spell
BURRH. BURRATA. Yep.
just put on them.
Yep. Do island shrimp salad.
What you call it?
That is our chorizo and potato dish.
Oh, I have the menu here.
CHORIZO.
So,
Chorizo and potato. And lastly is smoked chicken gumbo.
The dessert section, so
Oh, so no, that's our Mississippi Mudpie in a jar, and then a strawberry rhubarb cobbler.
okay, so I'm going to see.
Mississippi Mudpie. Strawberry rhubarb cobbler.
Rhubarb,
CHRH. RHUBARD.
That's good. Dessert.
Yeah.
Good. So hold up. Without the remote. Looks like it's frozen. So we don't need that. Yeah, that's not a bad shot.
Not bad.
Okay. Alright, so I got my fork now. You okay with using the same fork in different dishes?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have to do it. No, we have to have each one. It's okay.
Not too close together. You're eating that close together.
Yeah. It's got this one. Alright, it's the Buzz Reporter, Mike Ratner at newfoodreviews.com, and we're live at the Delafield Brewhouse with the famous, award-winning Chef Richard Sweed, the new chef of the Delafield Brewhouse. Wow, it's pretty, I have this whole background, it's great information, so if you missed part one, let's go to newfoodreviews.com and catch up. We'll go to the YouTube channel. We are going live right now. Okay, so here we are. We are live at the Delafield Brewhouse with famous chef and entrepreneur, I guess, also someone who's bringing out dishes, but was the founding chef of Chorizo 179, right?
Artist 179.
That's really amazing. And now he's the head chef of the Delafield Brewhouse. So we're here enjoying some of the essential dishes for our lunch menu. It's Chef Richard Sweed. Hey.
Hey, everyone.
So we've had some really wonderful, amazing, talk and chat before we went live. If you want to get all of that, just go to newfoodreviews.com. That's newfoodreviews.com. And I'm the Buzz Reporter, Mike Ratner, and I'm getting ready to sample some dishes. I'm all set with my utensils. So again, for those people who missed the first part, just a quick intro to what we got.
Sure. So we did a couple dishes, some from menu, some from specials. So part of our tapas menu here, this is our house-made burrata. Has a wood fire roasted oven tomato jam that we make underneath, prosciutto, micro basil, and then some crostinis. Next to that, on our lunch menu, this is our island shrimp salad. So that's grilled Gulf shrimp with a mango coconut vinaigrette that we make, char grilled pineapple, shaved red onion, red bell pepper. Then from our tapas menu on Thursdays, this is our chorizo potato dish. So those are artisan fingerling potatoes with a house-made chorizo, cage-free brown eggs, served sunny side up. We cook those potatoes back in some duck fat. And then lastly on our regular menu, that is our smoked chicken gumbo. So Bell & Evans chicken thighs that we smoke in-house, homemade gumbo with andouille, and then wild rice pilaf next to that.
Incredible, Chef. Oh my gosh. Chef Richard Sweed. All right, so he's got a certain direction he wants me to go as far as sampling. So if you all don't mind, I'll be digging out here and enjoying it. By the way, Brewhouse obviously makes brews. I am drinking their homemade root beer, which is really incredible. So if you're a person who prefers non-alcoholic beverages, they have that as well.
Really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting dishes too. We did a root beer barbecue a few months ago. We smoked some pork chops, some bone-in, smoked it, and used the root beer for barbecue. It was
What's that
amazing.
like? I mean, I've never had a root beer barbecue.
Yeah, it's got that like really subtle sweetness to it. It's got that nice kind of birchiness, and it plays really well with pork. So it was something we wanted to kind of test out. Like we all love the root beer, so we wanted, again, a lot of the things that we do, we want to functional the stuff that we're great at, like the beer and the root beer, and so we can showcase it in more than just one fashion.
Well, that's something I got to try. Have you ever had a root beer barbecue before? It sounds incredible, but obviously real nice. All right, so would you join me as well? Sure.
For sure.
That way you know what you prepared right by his team, because he's been with me. Well, I'm sure he's had a lot of things set up in preparation here.
So the Burrata will just cut dead in half here to get it started. And then what's great about that is you have that nice soft filling inside.
Oh my gosh.
So it's great on its own. If you like the vehicle for texture, the ciabatta crostinis are great.
So this sauce, this is like a big deal because you mentioned about this. So this is.
So we were discussing earlier on the other side that my food is designed around balance. So with a dish like this, you get cream from the cheese, you get this great sweetness and tart from the tomato, then you get salt from the prosciutto. So tasting each one of these, you go, oh, that's good, that's good. You take that complete bite with the basil hit and the herb, and then you get a great bite. And that's how we tried to design all of our dishes here at the BREWHAUS.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, if you're into Italian, you've got something here that's really sort of quite sweet and delectable at the same time. And this is a cold dish, right?
Yep.
So it's just a nice combination, and the decor, you know, you've got your bread as well. So if you're into this sauce, tell me a little bit more about the sauce, because that's kind of
Yeah, so we take cherry tomatoes, and then we have a wood fire pizza oven that we do pizzas out of predominantly, a couple other dishes. But we roast them in there, and they just bring out the natural sweetness and get that like hard, almost char to them. And then I cook them down further with some French champagne vinegar, a little bit of sugar, and then we use pectin, so it's like when you're making jelly or jam at home, to give it some body. And then we just chill it, and it just brings out all this beautiful, natural sweetness of the tomato.
Before I take this other bite, he was mentioning that when he came to the restaurant, he saw that they had these really large, full pizza ovens. They serve some great pizzas here as well. But they're not used all the time, so he thought, well, what else could be done in here to get more use out of them? And that's one of the things you came up with.
Yeah, we do some fire roasted artichokes in there for a pasta dish. One of the desserts that you're going to see later, we do that out of the pizza oven. That way we can bake it fresh to order, because it runs $650. Kind of keep it in between there for we hand toss all the dough for our pizzas, and so it runs at a really good temp. So we do a lot of like roasting of vegetables and different dishes that we can produce out of there to just it's another flavor pop.
All right, well, now I'm in the second dish.
So next, so this is on our lunch menu. This is our island shrimp salad. So Texas Gulf shrimp that we grill, baby spinach, and then we make a homemade coconut and mango vinaigrette. We steep with fresh thyme in there, some hard char grilled pineapple, shaved red onion, and then red bell pepper.
That's incredible.
We wanted something really springy, light, clean, fresh, that it was going to be crisp when you eat it,
And this is what you worked on to prepare for the new dish that starts coming out in the spring.
Yeah, we actually, this is our second menu since I've been here. We launched an initial one 2 months after I was here. We went right at it, launched a new menu, launched a new dessert menu, launched a new banquet menu. And then we let it go for about a month, and then we looked at what we needed to tweak and what the clientele was asking for, what they were missing, and then we started kind of redeveloping some new dishes into that, and this is one of those.
All right, clean palate. I'm ready. Right, so.
And this is a nice middle of the road one too that you can add. You can add different proteins if you want to sub out chicken for the shrimp. If you want to sub out salmon for the shrimp. We get some amazing Verlasso salmon that we use as an entree. Super sustainable, super clean. So we can sub that into this dish too.
I like the way,
sometimes.
talking to you, that you're very green conscious, and in fact, you're known for some vegetarian dishes as well that you come up with. So keep that in mind as well.
I'm a farm kid, so I grew up on a dairy farm on the East Coast. So to me, utilizing local farms is very, very important when we can, because what they're working to produce, it's the same kind of artistry and craftsmanship of what we're working to produce. So, Bell and Evans chicken thighs from Pennsylvania, it's a never-ever program, no hormones, no antibiotics. Berkshire pork that we use for up-off pork out of Madison for a chorizo. Obviously, Wisconsin, a ton of local cheese. So we're really we want that focus there, that we want you to know where your food's coming from.
Yeah, that's so important these days, right? Don't you want to know where your food's coming from? And that the chef cares enough to make sure that you not only the freshest ingredients, but it's sustainable, right? And you're not getting all these chemicals and things that God knows where else you eat. Well, that was really incredible. So we do a little hand job here to pick up the shrimp. It's like to see just how you marinated and prepared that. I look at that, just sort of balls. Yeah.
Keep them there.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. Nice touch.
And then we use the Texas Gulf, super sweet,
That's very good.
nice and clean. And we just do a really light grapeseed oil, salt and pepper, and then grill them. That way, the shrimp really can stand on its own.
If you come here, you got to try it. It's really great. Okay, so I guess that's the third dish, right? So
All right, so now we're gonna move into some of the ones with a little bit of spice here. So again, this one, this is from our tapas Thursday night. So that is sous vide fingerling potatoes that we pan fry back in duck fat from Maple Leaf Farms, and then it has our house-made chorizo featuring Berkshire pork, and then a cage-free sunny side up egg. So man down. So what we like to try to get our guests to do when they come in is with this dish, we want to just kind of take the yolk and kind of spread that yolk through and let that become our sauce. Because again, when we talk about balance, this is going to balance that nice heat from the chorizo.
all right, okay. So I got a copy what the chef does. So you spread that yolk, and you get some chorizo, a little bit of potato in there as well. All right.
I'm a sucker for duck fat potatoes too. So
Yeah.
that's my French training kicking in right there. Cooking duck fat.
Incredible. The combination just like rolled in incredible.
It's that heat that kind of builds. So when we do stuff with heat, we don't want burn your mouth heat. That's not our goal. So we want it to build so it just draws you back for another bite, that it just keeps you going back to it.
Yeah, that is really robust, plenty of flavor, and yeah, you get the sensation of some heat, but it's not going to burn you out. Although, I guess we had it to that degree, we just throw more beer.
Yeah, right. Can't go wrong there.
No, it's perfect. If you're in the spicy, you're going to get what you want, and if you just wine to sort of perk things up a bit, you can't go wrong with this dish. Really incredible.
And what's great is we don't do pre-made food. So say you come in and you're like, man, I really want those potatoes and eggs, but I can't handle chorizo. We cook all this to order, so we can omit the chorizo and do the potato and do the egg, so you can still experience it even if you aren't a fan of pork or aren't a fan of chorizo or spice. And that's what's nice about how we approach the way we cook here at the restaurant at the BREWHAUS.
And is that on the menu to made to order? Is that sort of a disclaimer on there and say, hey, if it's too spicy for you, we can
Yeah, I mean, we get a ton of the special orders, I mean.
I mentioned you had a pretty good following that came from your last place over here because
Yeah.
it just asked you to eat, right?
Right, and they, when they like your style, they tend to keep showing up, so.
I want to eat more. I think that's going to be my lunch. Well, I haven't said for sure, out of trying these 4 dishes, for me, that was my favorite because I love spice. I like chorizo. But a gumbo, I love New Orleans. In fact, I was in the last Mardi Gras before the hurricane. Think about that. Some people say that was the last original Mardi Gras because this thing It's recovered. That's how I can say
Right.
You know, when you're underwater, you know. So you got, before we hit this though, you know, you got a wide variety of styles. And it's because you like expressing yourself, or you again catering to an eclectic taste that you know you got as a customer?
I'm honestly, I'm easily bored. So when I started cooking, I couldn't work in just a French restaurant, just an Italian restaurant. I'd go insane. I need to explore. I need to like find new things, learn new things, and I've never wanted to create in a box. So my probably strongest asset for myself as a chef is creativity. That I can sit down and I can write you beer menus and wine dinner menus, and I enjoy it. I change the menu all the time, specials every week, because that's the part of the job that I love the most is the creating. So I taught myself all these things, so I didn't have to live in a box. I didn't want to be great at only one thing. I wanted to produce great stuff across the board of all different genres. Like this is funny. So this is my smoked chicken gumbo. So we're smoking Bell and Evans chicken thighs, andouille sausage, Holy Trinity, house-made chicken stock, and then some of the chicken jus from the smoking. And when I moved down here, one of my first jobs 10 years ago was I got a job as executive chef at a Cajun restaurant with no Cajun experience. No Cajun. I grew up with a lot of Southern roots from my family, but never been to Louisiana, no Cajun roots. No, I actually haven't made it yet, but I immersed myself. I went after this job. I got hired because of my background, even though I didn't have Cajun experience. And I went and I looked at all these top-notch chefs, you know, Paul Prudhomme, John Besh, you know, Emerald, and you look at look at Commander's Palace, and you just study it, work on it until we got it right. So gumbos and etouffees and jambalayas, beignets are now all part of my repertoire. So we wanted to show like this is kind of a progression of my career when you look through the Italian and Caribbean and Spanish tapas and now to a Cajun dish. That kind of speaks to who I am as a chef.
And we're talking to Chef Richard Sweed, and we're live at the Delafield Brewhouse, right in Wisconsin. So we're gonna go for it, and you guys ready? All right. So you start with the rice portion. So mix in.
I like to go and get a little bit of the chicken first, just so you can try that on its own, and then kind of work in. We do it side by side, so you can make the bite what you want it to be, you know. But I always say try like a gumbo on its own, and then kind of work it into the bite you want with the rice.
I got my gumbo, and I got a little vegetable. Whoa. I mean, that was so smooth.
The smoke is so like it's not overwhelming, but it's big and it's there. You're not searching for it. It's one of my pet peeves is if I go somewhere and I order something, I ordered it because it says smoked chicken, and I get it, and I don't get that smoke. I'm kind of bummed, you know. Or I get that like really bitter, harsh smoke because it got hammered, you know. So again, you know, the word you hear me say the most is the balance of just you get that nice smooth smoke, you get that little heat pop from the andouille,
that's right.
And then the rice just earthy and evens it out really nicely.
Yeah, in fact, it's kind of a layered taste because you get the smoky and you kind of get that earthiness in it, and that it rolls nice, as they would say. And then, so how long does it take you to prepare something like this? Because you got a lot of ingredients.
So the chicken we smoke for about 2.5 hours for the chicken to be done, and then the mahogany roux, like you make that really dark roux, is what gets gumbo to be gumbo in the sense of that like nuttiness and background flavor. That takes about 2 hours or so, and then we use our homemade chicken stock, which is an overnight process, and then we let it simmer for. Once we put it all together, about 2.5 hours. We don't work off of recipes. We work off of taste. So my guys have been with me for a very long time.
For years they followed him. Where he goes, they go.
My whole crew came with me here. So my sous chef Cody, my pastry chef Martine, a couple of my other cooks, Rasha and Al, they all came with me here. Because they believed in what we were doing and what they were learning. So, you know, we carried little books around, and we have the backbone of the recipe in there. But at the end of the day, we cook with real ingredients. So the tomato I buy is never going to be the tomato you buy. They're not going to taste the same. So we coax each one to get what that jam should taste like or what this gumbo should taste like off of flavor profile after the base.
You must have some good taste parties in the kitchen.
We do.
Well, I want to, the chef's been very generous with his time, so I don't want to take you too far away. It's Friday, so it's a busy night, but he's got his crew here working, so he's got him busy. I'm going to grab the dessert thing because it's to my right. And we're going to have to come back. We're going to have to come back for the Asian fusion thing on Wednesday. I mean, I can see that. Also, we talked about maybe hitting some other stuff along the road because he knows some of the other chefs in the area and we're all kind of buddy-buddy. So, yeah. All right. These are full portions. I mean, these are full dishes that I've got. Usually when I do some of the reviews, I'm getting little sample dishes. So Friday night, we're not having to go out tonight.
We're gonna get you full. So these are two of our desserts from our dessert menu, which is ever changing as well. So first in the jar, it's our rework of a Mississippi mud pie. So it's a homemade fudge, homemade chocolate cookie crumble, and then a dark chocolate mousse, and then whipped cream on top. So it's all those flavors of that southern Mississippi mud pie, but pie's ugly. So we reworked it, and Martina, our pastry chef, put that to the jar. And it's done really well for us. And then next to that is our strawberry rhubarb cobbler, which, in Wisconsin with so much winter, when spring hits and something's available, we go after it. So I got that note that, hey, rhubarb's ready. So we make a strawberry rhubarb puree, and then we take the fresh strawberry rhubarb into our little cassoulet dish, and we cook that off in our pizza oven, in our wood fire oven to order, and then we make a panko breadcrumb streusel on top. So instead of doing like the traditional oat streusel, we do one with panko. We make it light and crispy, and then we do a local Ledouche custard. So anyone from out here has surely been to Ledouche to have custard. So that completes our strawberry rhubarb cobbler.
Well, I can't wait to try it. That's pretty good. And you got to know what you're doing with rhubarb because if you don't know about rhubarb, you got to go on Wikipedia or Google it because if it's not prepared right, you can cook it.
Yeah. Stay away from the green and cook it. It's the quick tip.
It's like the blowfish of vegetables.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, what would your preference be to start with? Which one?
I would start with the cobbler just because the chocolate's really going to coat when you go in there.
Okay. So here we go, and right side spoons too. Really enjoy it. Oh my God. Unless we have to finish here because obviously I'm not taking this one. Although you could close it up.
That panko comes off almost like a shortbread cookie.
It does.
On top because it's so light and buttery and crispy.
I bet you had to experiment with this to get this right.
We did a couple of test runs. Like I said, because my crew has been with me for so long, we understand what the other guy's going for. So when we're working on dishes together, like pastry chef Martine, we talked about it. He went and made his test batch. We adjusted the size that he wanted his fruit to be a little bit bigger. We played with the, he really liked the idea of the panko breadcrumb, so we went with that panko streusel, and we just work on dialing it in. We talk them all to death until we get them. We always say if they're not perfect, then they're not right. So we're just going to keep grinding. That's what we want. Is we know we're not going to be, but if you strive for perfection, you will reach excellence. Is kind of the mantra back there. So.
The mantra, Chef Richard Sweed. Gotta get it perfect, gotta get it right. So I was talking to him earlier, said if you thought about preparing a cookbook. So that's on his list. So if you're gonna write in or comments on it, not available yet, but we'll let you know. And certainly, this will be one of my favorite destination spots. I'll tell you. So I'll be coming back and forth. We'll check in when we have new recipes, and we'll keep this going. Plus, we're talking about hitting the town, so that'll be good. So I got to finish that, but I guess for time's sake, we're 7 minutes for the hour, folks. We're going to test this one out here, and then I'll get some shots of the outside.
And then you're going all the way to the bottom so you get some of that fudge.
Okay, so we're taking this all the way down to the bottom, and getting a full spoon. Like fudge.
What's great is we use really great chocolate to start with, but it's super light, you know. So it's a homemade chocolate mousse, the homemade fudge, the homemade chocolate cookie crumble.
Where are you sourcing your chocolate from?
Most of it, a little bit of Ghirardelli, and then most of it is Calibut.
That's really good. In fact, if you're coming here for dessert, maybe both of you can't go wrong. But if you're a chocolate fan, and I know most of you are, that is a winner.
And we want to keep things, you know, a lot of that like Southern theme tied in with how much smoking we do and stuff like that. So we went that way with dessert with Mississippi mud pie, and we also do a red velvet cake that we hand cut them, and then we fill them and we ice little individual red velvets, and then when we take them, and we don't want to waste anything. We want to get full use, like when we're making something, of breaking it down and using everything. So when we cut the nice rings for the cake, we dry out all the crumb, and then we dot the cream cheese icing on the outside with the crumb.
So in future time, because you know they're busy and he's got a team back there, so it's pretty crap. But we'll do a kitchen shop in the future. But you mentioned you got some new equipment. And,
yeah. So we brought in the sous vide when we came. Sous vide, cryovac. We got 2 great smokers back there in the wood fire oven. But like, so one of our biggest sellers is the other thing we use these chicken thighs for is we have a southern fried chicken sandwich, and we have a southern fried chicken dinner with that chorizo that we make and a homemade chorizo gravy, like sausage gravy but with chorizo. And we sous vide all the chicken thighs in advance so we can do a really fixed low temperature, and then we can fry them back beautifully. Then we soak them all in buttermilk and then fry them. And if I can only eat one thing the rest of my life, it's probably going to be fried chicken. So that buttermilk and Tabasco picks up all that great flavor. So utilizing things like the sous vide, and then you know the cryovac, beyond just you know protecting product, we do a caprese pizza on the menu that we take those cherry tomatoes and we compress them with a balsamic marinade that we make, and that really just pushes in that balsamic flavor really nice. And then we do a homemade garlic oil, and then our pizza cheese blend. It's a East Coast blend.
Well, I mean that's pretty amazing. So there's so much here. I mean, we really couldn't even summarize it because you're just getting a sampling of what you're seeing on the lunch menu. But there's a whole menu out here from sandwiches to pizzas, and this is a brew house, and they got craft beers, you know, that they're making. So.
Oh, speaking of beer, I just got through one of my favorites out there. So we do a homemade beer batter. Wisconsin, home of the cheese curd. We use Clock Shadow Creamery, fresh curds, and then we hand batter them with our beer batter, and then we make a Southwest or Chipotle Ranch dipping sauce. One of my favorite things, because I mean, we live in a world in Wisconsin where there's only 2 types of curds, good curds and bad curds, you know, and ours are like, we went that extra mile for something so small with our appetizers, like a curd, to really push and give that good quality and give that local farm, feature our beer, put so much work into just one little basket of curds, you know.
So folks, we're talking about real quality and a lot of care, time that goes into this. Reasonably priced menu, right? So you got to come out, you know, meet Chef Richard Sweed, come to the DELAFIELD Brewhouse in Delafield, particularly those of you who are out of state, you know, you're traveling through, going up to the Dells for summer's around the corner. This is the place you got to check out. This should be on your route. Your TripAdvisor and everybody else, take note. This is the place to be. All right, well, this is going to wrap it up because Chef's got to get back to the kitchen. He's been really generous with his time.
We got dinner service.
Dinner service. I'll have pictures of all the dishes online. I'll give a link to the restaurant, and we'll be back. We'll definitely be back. Chef, you know, thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You got to do a lot of reviews. I got to tell you, this knocks out of the park. And sometimes you're kind of like going.
Yeah, right.
This is all A stuff. You know, 5 stars. We only go 3 or 4. We're doing 5 here. So again, thanks for tuning in to newfoodreviews.com and an interview live at the DELAFIELD Brewhouse with Chef Richard Sweed. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Of course.